Can you say that word one more time?
It's on time, Mariquita!
SEAL is a comprehensive systems change strategy. So we really focus our understanding of how to impact education. One of the beauties of SEAL is that we are both trying to change the actual classrooms and schools and districts that we partner with, and we are also trying to use SEAL to move the conversation forward across the field, trying to show people what are all the components of this comprehensive change strategy.
Los idiomas que usan mi familia son español e inglés.
I cut this one piece. The wood is used for solid furniture, so we can make a sentence.
SEAL has changed the impact of how students learn in our classroom, and our English language learners have consistently made significant progress where in the past we haven't.
Calabazas aquí, calabazas allí.
Humans should protect the earth, they must.
Our key focus is implementing an approach that retools how students are experiencing education and focused on student achievement and student outcomes. We are able to impact student achievement through our work on professional learning and professional development, understanding that teachers are central and critical to improving student outcomes.
The wood is smooth, rough, smooth.
Can we say the wood is rough?
I know that SEAL is working when I walk into the classrooms and kids are joyfully engaged in learning. And they're using language that I haven't heard them use before, that's high and it's complex and it's rigorous and they understand the language that they're using. The second thing I can tell you is that our data supports that the SEAL is working.
English is she and he.
That's right. That's what we need to have to make sense of it.
I think as an educator, you walk into classrooms that have almost a buzz, a feeling that students are active in their own learning because the language they use is genuine. It's filled with joy, and that's a term that is used a lot, but it's a term that is so appropriate for what happens in SEAL classrooms. They feel engaged because they participate. Confidence through their participation is something that it's hard not to recognize.
What are humans? People, right?
My favorite way of learning is the writing and drawing, because when I'm writing, I know what I'm thinking about saying.
Because I speak English, I could talk to my brother and help translate for my mom at the doctor's.
So I took this today with a group of my kids you probably know pretty well.
Within SEAL, collaboration is key to professional learning, really understanding that it's when teachers work together, implementing and enacting research-based practice, that they're able to really have transformation in their classrooms.
Clearly not emerging students, but maybe if we look at expanding or bridging, we might find some things that would be helpful, like, for example, combining clauses.
Teachers need to understand why they're doing this in order to actually implement. The why is really important for deepening their own understanding of mastering the strategies themselves.
Every group of teacher, though they're working with the exact same standards, from school to school to school, from cohort to cohort across the state, come up with their own solutions about how these go together. And that's essential because this is about meaning making.
SEAL and all the trainings made me a better teacher. SEAL has allowed me to, be more cognizant and more aware of not just the needs of my students, but knowing all these different strategies that I can implement. I feel that I can be a lot more intentional in my classroom. The classroom has become more alive. How many words do you see in my sentence? One,
1, 2, 3.
Differentiating instruction and making sure that my centers are interesting for the kids and that they want to go and they want to work, that they're learning. I do get emotional because I feel that now I see it in my students. I walk in and my classroom is so joyous. The butterfly is happy. And how do you feel out here, Elias?
Happy.
You feel happy?
We really understand that you can't work teacher by teacher. You have to work in groups of teachers, and then you have to work with leaders, and then you have to work with leaders across the system, and then you have to work across multiple systems to build a network.
Having the same vision, working collaboratively with the principal really helps us create this alignment between kinder all the way up to 4th and 5th.
Even though every classroom still looks different and has its own spin, you can see the thread throughout. You can see the commonality, you can see the consistency in the strategies.
And the articulation in the classes from kindergarten all the way
across language
and
models
across
too,
language
right?
models.
Yes.
Oh, no se oye. Buenos días.
We also are working across the preschool system and aligning it with the K-12 system. Our goal is to both enact that in the places that we're working and implementing the model. It is also to learn from it. And so we want to be engaging with the field, with policymakers, in saying, this is what we're doing to make this happen. This is what we're learning. This is what we think has implications for policy, for investments.
It is so important, that our message goes across, that, you hear what coaches are hearing and coaches hear what you're hearing, because we're all working together.
When I come to a principal convening, there's multiple parts of it that are really important. The first part is just the basic knowledge and information that we're going to get, the opportunity to network with other principals who are going through, similar situations. And it gives us an opportunity to find that sort of critical partner.
We do need to spend that much time on the ELA because we need to ensure that all kids can read. They certainly aren't going to be mathematicians if they can't read.
We're very conscious when we construct the content that we're connecting the dots across those systems for everybody to understand who is receiving what.
This is the kind of model I want to put a lot of energy into.
Buenos días, buenos días. Pase, mami. Buenos días. Puede empezar por acá.
The fourth component of our system-wide approach is really understanding the role of families, the role of working with families in a partnership, understanding that families are critical first teachers of all students. And so we really want to be, as much as possible, connecting that for kids, where we really see their cultures and their families valued in the school, as well as we want the school to be valued in the homes.
In family partnerships, the beauty of what happens with the SEAL model is that the teachers learn strategies, and then in turn they are encouraged to share these with their families through workshops.
Entonces, hoy vamos a compartir todo lo que han visto los niños de los insectos y vamos a hablar de la conexión escuela-hogar y cómo ustedes se sintieron con este proyecto. ¿Quién quiere ir primero? A ver, señora Esperanza, venga con Jeffrey. Vengan acá, ven Jeffrey con tu mami.
I like to be bilingual so then I can talk with my family members English and Spanish. If I lose my Spanish and I'm not bilingual anymore, then I'm not going to be able to communicate with them.
Él es el panal y esta es la cajita donde se recolecta la miel.
Mi hijo, el pequeño, dice que le encanta, que le fascinó mucho hablar sobre los planetas.
Ahorita, pues, para mí es una experiencia muy nueva y me gusta mucho compartir con él.
SEAL really is fully aligned to all four principles, to all the components of the English Learner Roadmap. Really thinking about what does it mean to address all English learner needs in an asset-based approach, really valuing their home languages, their cultures, and aspiring towards multilingualism.
I worked all my life with language learners and never saw a program that was, or a model that was as effective as SEAL is in engaging language learners in using the language that they're being taught.
When Sarah went to the beach, she took a bag and she collected some of the trash.
We're putting in place more of the pieces than any other initiative, project, program than I've ever experienced. And I think many of our colleagues who are on the journey with us feel similarly, and so it gives them hope.
Sarah says you've given her so many ideas and how she can practice her conservationist skills. I had a mom that said, "Where does he get all this?" He knows how to ask so many questions, and there's so much language in him. And she says, thank you. And I say, no, thanks, Theo.